Wow, that footage. So nice. What a morning. Yeah, I was up early. Today, March 15th, 2024. It's the Hotline show. The eighth one we've done. That means we've been doing this for 2 months. Unbelievable. This morning I went up to Jeffersonville, I think, Liberty, and did a quick interview at WJFF Radio Catskill with Patricio Robayo. We talked briefly about a class I'm teaching next month at Catskill Art Space. I'll put the info down below in the description. If you're in the area and want to spend every Saturday night for an hour hanging out, talking about photo stuff, maybe sign up. Anyway, today, as I said, is the Hotline show. We got some great calls. I'm looking at it. Yeah, this one won't be that long. This one says 3.5 hours. So, maybe grab a snack, some Ritz crackers maybe. Before we get into that, there's one other order of business that we need to talk about. And that is, if you are going to call, make sure to call before Wednesday. Every time I sit down to record, the phone starts ringing. Someone else wants to get in, but too late. I record this day before. I know it seems live, it's not. So just so you know, Tom, next week we'll get to you. I'm probably not going to cut in much this episode, but one other thing. Peter didn't call. I don't know why. Maybe he's mad at us. But we don't have a call from Peter. That's it. Get back to it. First call.
Hey Noah, it's Claude. Big fan of your show, of your YouTube show, and your newsletter, which you should bring back, but that's besides the point. If you can't tell, I'm sick right now. Maybe Google Voice makes me sound stuffy regardless, but all this is to ask, what do you do when you have a cold? Do you have some sort of remedy? You kind of strike me as the kind of guy that, I don't know, has a cold remedy, has a whole system. I don't know, prove me wrong. Maybe you know nothing. All right. I hope you're well and healthy and not sick like me. Good night.
Claude, sorry to hear you're sick. Nice to hear from you. Hope you're feeling better. That was a few days ago. Do I have a remedy? No, I don't. Usually when I get sick, I complain about it to everyone I know. I can barely do anything. Obviously, it depends on the level of cold, but I feel sick almost every day, basically. But, the real sick, just turn into the biggest baby in the world. I think do the stuff that works for you. Everyone's body's different. So over time, I think you find out what works for you. I used to really like chicken soup, making it or even just going out and buying some. Just get those liquids. Obviously, I don't know. Same tired and true stuff. There's nothing that is the silver bullet. Thanks about the newsletter. I know you miss it. A lot of people do. Maybe we'll bring it back. In fact, if someone wants to work on it, maybe ghostwrite a little, I'll cut in profit share. So I just need help. There's so much stuff I have to do. I can't do it all myself. And that said, if I share profits and someone wants to get involved for the potential of making money doing it, unlikely. In fact, it's why I kind of stopped. But maybe if we had a whole thing going, it's possible. I mean, I've heard someone left a comment about how successful someone's newsletter was, and they were making $1 million. No, I don't know. Thanks, Claude. Definitely feel better. Hope to talk to you soon. Next caller.
Hey, Noah, it's Will. Your voice is very creative and seems largely untainted by social media and internet culture and a lot of stuff that many of us are watching nowadays. And I was just curious what are you taking in? What kind of books or movies or TV or maybe none of that you're watching or consuming? Yeah, thanks.
Will, thank you. Thanks for the call. Thanks for calling again. Love your YouTube channel. It's great. What am I taking in? Well, your show, obviously. I enjoy it. I consume everything. I've watched everything that's on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO Max, you name it. I've seen it all. I've run out of things to watch. I look at all the internets, the Instagrams, the Twitters. Well, not Twitter anymore. Like for real, I don't look at that shithole site. But Threads. What else is there? I don't know. I just consume it all. I'm very much, I feel like very connected to what's going on. I watch news. I read the New York Times. I don't really read books. Just doesn't click for me. But yeah, so it's all just an amalgamation of all that stuff, just rotting my brain. And then I just turn it into whatever I feel like. I don't really like to follow trends. When I see trends, I'm like, usually I think it's stupid, but mostly because I did whatever the trend is years before. And I think that's mostly because I just trust my instincts. When I feel like something might be good, I just go for it. I'm not really reacting, I'm more just doing. I just really dislike like being immediately influenced by things online or anywhere. I just like it just comes in and I process it and then I just put it out. So, you know, that's it. It's complicated, but I don't it's different for everyone. I don't think my way is correct necessarily. There's a, I don't know if you can hear that. It's very distracting. There's a mouse that lives in my studio now. And it has gotten more bold and now it makes a lot of noise. And usually when it gets dark out, it comes out. Anyway, that's it. Thanks, Will. I hope that answers the question, and thank you. Thanks for calling. Next caller.
Hi, Noah. This is Yannick calling from Gatineau, Quebec, up north. I saw you've been using your drone quite often. I think you have a Mavic 3 Classic. It's a very nice drone. I just wanted to have your opinion on using drones for photography or videography. Do you think they have enough features? Do you like the vantage point they offer? What are the pros and cons from your point of view? Love your show. Thank you.
Yannick, thanks for the call. Another Canadian. We're international here, everywhere. We got the South, the America, Europe. No one in Asia yet, but we're getting there. The drone. Yeah, I have this Mavic 3 Classic, and yeah, it's great. I mean, I think like most things now, the more you spend, the better it gets. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. And I mean, it's all relative, obviously. I think the package that I got, it's a couple, $2,000, maybe give or take, with controller or whatever, extra batteries. And I think that's for a tripod in the sky, basically. It's incredible. The field of view, it's wide. I don't know specifically the actual wide angleness of it, but sometimes that can feel too wide. I think when you shoot video, it sort of zooms in a little. I know the pro version of this that shoots like cine, whatever, log. I don't fuck with any of that stuff because it's annoying and complicated and takes too long, and I don't think it's worth it unless there was like a budget. So, I wish there was maybe 2 focal lengths on this. The Pro does have that. It has the wide and it has a zoom. This doesn't have the zoom, but the zoom on the Cine one is way too long anyway. It's like, what are you going to use that for? Like spy? It's just too much. So this mostly has it all. And I find the quality is good. I mean, I've blown up pictures. I don't know. I don't like to go bigger than 16 inches wide. You really see a degradation of quality, but it's all a matter of what you're willing to accept when you blow up prints that large. Ideally, I'd love to have a much bigger and better camera on it. But again, that plays into the how much are you willing to spend calculation. I've played with the littler ones that are tiny and they're fun, and the video's pretty good. Again, depends on what you want to use it for. I'd say the main downfall, and I think anyone who flies a drone is going to agree with this, is they can just be loud and obnoxious. I tend to fly it not around people. When I do, I feel very embarrassed about it. So I try to hide. I find a place where they don't know where I'm taking off or landing, so they can't like look and be annoyed at me. So that's it. I mean, any level, I think there's the Air, it's under $1,000. It's just, if you think you're going to use it, like even just a handful of times, I think it's worth it. And maybe even look for one that's used. I started buying used camera gear, and it's worth it. Hope that helps. Good luck. Next caller.
Hey, no, it's Brian. It's March 10th, 5:02 p.m. in Minneapolis. So I've been thinking about this Instagram subscription idea and trying to give you the choice to, pay one or two artists and kind of figuring out the product from that perspective, because I think there's something to it. But I'm just wondering, is it really a waste of time to be thinking about like Instagram or doing, promoting on there, or is it really truly like nothing matters and who cares? Because I don't know. I mean, I still see most of my photography on Instagram, like the best stuff. I have a good feed, and I almost feel ashamed of it because it's like Instagram's supposed to suck. But I'm like, well, I actually have got it kind of optimized to where I'm actually seeing the stuff that I want. And other than like the crappy like consumer kind of like goods ads, the feed's pretty good. But you got to get rid of the ads. You need some type of subscription thing, right? So I don't know. Just maybe it's not worth thinking about. But curious what you have to say about it.
Brian, thanks for the call again. Always great to hear from you. Always good questions. Always good insight into the photo industry. Yes, nothing matters. Do whatever feels right. Trust your instincts. It all depends on what you're trying to get out of it. I do think Instagram is still good. I was looking at your Instagram. You follow a lot of people, nearly 2,000 people. And I was thinking about that because I always like to keep my numbers not too high, usually around 1,000. But I'm noticing it on Threads and maybe elsewhere. I think the more people you follow, the better experience you might end up getting. And I think it's interesting to hear that you're getting and having a good photography experience with that many followers or following that many people. So that there might be something to that. And, I've always thought of these internet platforms as like the mall, essentially. And if it's popular, you should probably be there because that's where people are going. So if you have work you want to show, why not? Except TikTok. I never got into it. I know you were into it briefly, but if that's what's going to work and where the eyeballs are, go for it. The subscription thing is interesting, and I'm putting your thread up here now about paying $99 subscription, and then it would be paid out to the creators, or even more, paying more to specifically target a couple of followers who you'd want to see more of that revenue go to. I think that's a great idea. And I just don't think these platforms have any interest in wanting to do that because it's more work for them. And they don't really care about creators. They just want people making things and generating content so more people come. And plenty will do it for next to nothing or nothing at all. Just the hopes of seeing it. We know this. It's just super depressing. And, I sort of agree that, the subscription thing, how many subscriptions can we have? I probably subscribe to, 10, 12 services at this point. And then, and then some different Patreons and Substacks. It's like, it's too much at a certain point. How do you get more people when they've already got this much? And how does an individual creator compete with a Netflix? For $10 a month, you get movies. And then for roughly the same price, you get a photographer's work. a couple posts here and there. It's like, it's hard to find that. So building that audience to get the amount of people who are willing to pay, I mean, I think it's way more than anyone really thinks. They say 1,000 true fans. I mean, I think it's like you need like 50,000 true fans, because only 1,000 are going to maybe pay. At least in my experience. And, maybe I don't offer anything that people want to pay for. Not to mention the fact it's a chicken and egg situation where you have to generate work that people are going to be attracted to, just to then have them pay more for you to then have to produce more. And then you are under the obligation at that point, once you start taking money, to cater to what might not be a very large audience. And that is just exhausting. Again, back to my newsletter, it's why I was hesitant to start asking for money to begin with, and then felt just awful when I couldn't maintain the effort and the amount of work. That said, I said very specifically, you don't get anything extra. You're just supporting this. But I think expectations are now so high and people want more, and it's just somewhat unsustainable. It's like, how do you build a career on that? I don't know. It's too much. I mean, second, we can run some real juicy ads here that pay me a lot of money, and I don't have to ask for individual money. It's kind of interesting, right? Because I almost feel bad about taking regular people's money. We all, any regular Joe just works hard for their money. So to then take it, just makes me uncomfortable. But a corporation, I don't give a shit. Give me the money. Like, as long, obviously, as long as it's not like, they're not like forcing me to say something, which again comes with caveats, because then maybe they won't like it if we said something, and then you sort of have to be held back by that. So it's hell. I don't know. There's no silver bullet here, but I don't know. Send your ideas to Adam on Threads. Maybe he'll see it and do it, but it won't happen. Thanks, Brian. Next caller.
Hey, Noah. It's Nick. I guess I should just say that I, like everyone else, has really been enjoying your videos. 3 things. One, somehow or another on Instagram, I've seen that you're friends with Reggie Watts, I think, or Reggie Watts, and you did a video about certain prints you were trying to sell, and on Instagram, I believe, just all your old prints, which was a very great sequence, by the way, Secrets of Stories. And you had one of Reggie Watts, which was great. If it's for sale, I think you can text on Google Voice. So if you want to text me details, I'm interested. But I was just wondering how you two met. I know you're both fellow New Yorkers.
Nick, thanks. I know you got 3 questions here. I'm going to break it up, because this is long. Yes, Reggie. I met him July 22nd, 2007. He came over to my studio. This is one of the pictures I took of him in my studio. My friend Jake is one of the co-creators of Vimeo, became friends with Reggie. They were roommates for a while. So he was brand new. Reggie was brand new to the city, and this was the first time we met, and we collaborated on a lot of things together, including the cover for one of his comedies specials. Here it is. And we've done a number of things. We did a couple of videos. I was thinking about playing one of the videos soon, talking about that. But yeah, great guy, amazingly talented. He's awesome. And yeah, those prints, yeah, everything's for sale. That one sold. We'll talk, and maybe we'll make something for you. Let me get to your next question.
The other thing is, I was always wondering who takes photos when you're at family gatherings. As a photographer, I'm wondering if there's an expectation for you to take the photos, or if they cut you a break. Also, do you smile in those photos? I'm sure you do. It's family, but who knows?
Yeah, family gatherings. Well, I don't often take many photos at family gatherings. We're not like a super fun family. I mean, we all like each other, but we're not a big like memory portrait family. Uh, and I usually don't. I think early on when I was younger, there was maybe a little expectation like, where's your camera? Uh, but now I don't think anyone expects that of me. And for a while I was in like a no smile phase, but now I smile. I'm more normal now than I was maybe in my mid 20s and early 30s. Your last question here.
I had messaged you on Instagram once, and you gave really good advice about getting into photography, which was essentially one thing, which was just to take more photos, which was very concise. And I didn't really get it fully at the time. But then through my dad upgraded his camera. He gave me his Sony a6000, which I started using, and I love it. It's so fun. Just taking photos and going out and kind of exploring that, looking at the world through a lens and composition and all that. Anyway, I'm just wondering what your beef is with Sony, because I know you've said that you switched over to the Sony platform and you can't stand it, but you're so in the ecosystem now. I find it fine, although I don't have any frame of reference. So I was just wondering what it is about Sony. Thank you so much for doing these videos. Thanks to everyone watching. I really enjoy what you've been doing and kind of this vibe that's being curated on the Hotline show.
Yeah, the Sony stuff. Well, it's complicated. Actually, this A7R III that's filming this right now, really, truly awful camera. And I think there was actually always a problem with it. The screen would sometimes not even come on. You'd have to turn it on, turn it off. Maybe it's a bug with this particular version. I recently got the A7R V, which is significantly better than this camera in every way. It just feels better. It actually works. It's faster. The menu's a little better, which, by the way, the menu's just atrocious. It's complicated, convoluted. I just find that these cameras just have no soul. It's a computer that takes pictures, and like the photos and videos that come out of it are fine. Like, and if you're enjoying it and it's fun, then that's good, and use it. It really doesn't matter. So many people love the cameras. I came from Canon before this, and my main camera for taking pictures is a phase 1 medium format camera. And that just has like character and it feels good. And I also do not like electronic viewfinders. So it's probably a combination of just like the camera that I initially got, and coming from more old school kind of cameras that just sort of bug me about the Sonys. And maybe it would be with any newer type of mirrorless. I think these do have mirrors, I think. I don't know. No, it doesn't, because it's an electric viewfinder. So yeah, it's the mirrorless stuff that just is weird to me. I think looking at screens, like I can look through a viewfinder and judge light through that viewfinder and get a general sense of how a photo is going to turn out. But when I'm looking at a EV, electric viewfinder, or even a screen, I don't know. Like, and to me, it's just a newer way to do it. And it's just maybe because I have a old school mentality when it comes to taking pictures. So as long as you're having fun, and yeah, take pictures, it's the only way you get better is you just take a million photos, like millions of them, like literally hundreds of that. And then you're like, oh, that I see that, and I'm going to do that again. That's how you get better. Probably no other way. That's it. That's all my questions for this week. So thank you. Thanks everyone for watching, making it this far. Do the stuff, like, subscribe, call the number below if you want to come on the show next week. Talk about anything, cameras, home remedies, flowers. I don't know, so you'll figure it out. See you next week sometime, probably, maybe. Thank you. Bye.